You open your banking app on a random Tuesday. Nothing special about the day. You just want to check your balance, and there it is, $10,000 sitting in your savings account. You worked hard for that money. You did the responsible thing. You saved it instead of spending it. Then you scroll down and see the interest earned this year, $50. 50 on $10,000. You stare at that number for a second because something about it doesn't add up. You've been disciplined. You've done everything you were told to do. So why does it feel like your money isn't actually doing anything? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Saving money protects you, but it will almost never make you wealthy. And the people who understand the difference between saving and investing aren't just a little bit ahead financially. Over time, they end up in a completely different category of wealth than everyone else, using the exact same starting amount of money you have right now. Here's what makes this so frustrating. Nobody sits you down and explains the actual mechanics of why this happens. You're just told vaguely, you should invest, without anyone showing you the real math behind why that $50 and a completely different outcome are separated by nothing more than where your money physically sits. And every year you stay purely in savings mode is a year that gap gets wider, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because compounding rewards time more than it rewards almost anything else. The person who starts this shift today and the person who starts it 5 years from now aren't 5 years apart in results. They're often tens of thousands of dollars apart from the exact same starting point. So let's actually break down why this happens and exactly what to do about it, without putting your financial safety net at risk in the process. Let's actually run the numbers, because this is where it stops being an opinion and starts being math. Say you put $10,000 into a savings account earning 1% interest. After a year, you have $10,100. Now take that same $10,000 and imagine it's invested somewhere earning 10% annually, which is roughly the long-term historical average of the stock market as a whole. After 1 year, you'd have $11,000. That gap already sounds meaningful, but it's nothing compared to what happens over time. Stretch both of those out to 20 years, and the version sitting in a savings account grows to around $12,200. The version that was invested grows to around $67,000. Same person, same starting amount, same 20 years. The only difference is where the money was sitting, and that difference isn't a rounding error. It's the difference between a modest cushion and a genuinely life-changing amount of money. This is really the entire story behind who builds wealth and who doesn't. It's rarely about who saves the most and who spends the most. It's about who eventually makes the jump from protecting their money to putting it to work. If the math is this obvious, why doesn't everyone just do it? Because the real barrier was never math. It's psychology. A savings account feels safe because you can watch the number and it never goes down. It doesn't drop on a random Tuesday afternoon for no reason you can point to. Investments do exactly that. They move. Sometimes they climb, sometimes they fall. And that unpredictability is enough to keep a lot of people frozen in place indefinitely, even when they know, logically, that staying in savings alone is costing them. And if you're thinking, sure, but I'm not willing to gamble the safety net I worked hard to build, that instinct isn't wrong. It just means the transition needs to happen deliberately, in a specific order, instead of all at once. Before a single dollar goes toward investing, you need 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses sitting in cash, completely separate from anything you plan to grow. This isn't the money you're trying to make work harder. Its entire job is to sit there and absorb whatever life throws at you. A job loss, a medical bill, a car that decides to break down at the worst possible time. Here's why this step matters more than people realize. The single biggest reason people panic sell their investments at exactly the wrong moment is because they suddenly need cash they didn't set aside elsewhere. An emergency fund isn't just a safety net for your life. It's what protects your investments from your own life. So a bad month doesn't force a bad financial decision. Once that foundation exists, the next shift is mental, not financial. Start thinking of your money as living in two completely separate buckets. One bucket is safety money. It doesn't move, it doesn't fluctuate, and its only job is to be there when you need it. The other bucket is growth money, and its entire purpose is different. It's allowed to go up and down, because volatility is simply the cost of admission for long-term growth. This distinction sounds small, but it changes everything emotionally. When your safety money is untouched and separate, watching your growth money dip on a rough week stops feeling like an emergency and starts feeling like exactly what it is, a normal part of the process. A lot of people delay investing because they assume it requires thousands of dollars to be worth doing. It doesn't. Most modern brokerage platforms let you start with $50 or $100. And starting small isn't a compromise. It's actually the smarter move early on, because the real goal in this phase isn't maximizing returns. It's building the habit. Someone who consistently invests a small amount every single month will almost always end up ahead of someone who waited to invest properly once they had more money, because that waiting period is exactly where most people quietly give up. This is where a lot of beginners go straight off track. They open a brokerage account and immediately get pulled toward the exciting stuff: day trading, options, chasing whatever's trending. But the boring, simple approach consistently beats the complicated one over any meaningful time frame. Index funds are the clearest example. Instead of trying to guess which individual company will win, an index fund spreads your money across hundreds of companies at once, which means one bad pick can't sink you, and one good pick doesn't need to be found in the first place. It's not a coincidence that some of the most respected investors in history, including Warren Buffett, have repeatedly pointed regular investors toward exactly this kind of simple, diversified approach instead of anything flashier. And here's the part that surprises people. The most effective strategy isn't clever timing or picking the perfect stock. It's just showing up consistently. Imagine investing $300 every month into the market, averaging an 8% annual return. After 25 years, that adds up to roughly $285,000. Out of that total, you only actually put in about $90,000 yourself. The remaining nearly $200,000 came entirely from growth, compounding quietly in the background the entire time. Think of saving money like keeping seeds sealed in a jar. They're protected, completely safe, and exactly the same size a year from now as they are today. Investing is what happens when you take those same seeds and put them into soil instead. At first, it looks worse, not better. The ground is messy, nothing visible is happening, and it would be easy to assume you made a mistake. But given enough time, what grows out of that soil ends up far bigger than anything that could have stayed protected in a jar forever. At this point, the obvious worry surfaces. What happens if you start investing and the market drops right after? It's a fair question, and the honest answer is that market downturns aren't rare exceptions. They've happened repeatedly throughout history, and they'll keep happening. But here's the part that changes how you should feel about that. If you're investing consistently every month, a downturn actually works in your favor, because the same amount of money buys more shares when prices are lower, which sets you up for stronger returns once the market recovers, and it always eventually has. This is exactly why experienced long-term investors stay calm during volatile periods. They're not thinking in days or weeks. They're thinking in decades, and at that timescale, short-term drops stop looking like disasters and start looking like discounts. So here's the full picture, start to finish. You protect yourself first, with 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting untouched in cash. You separate your money mentally into safety money and growth money, so market movement stops feeling like a threat. You start investing in small, consistent amounts because the habit matters more than the timing. You choose simple, diversified investments like index funds instead of chasing complexity. And you stay disciplined enough to let compounding do what it does best over years, not weeks. Saving gives you stability. Investing is what eventually gives you freedom. And the moment you stop treating them as competing choices and start treating them as two stages of the same journey is the moment your money actually starts working as hard as you do. If this helped you understand exactly where you are in this process and what comes next, hit subscribe, because there's a lot more coming on exactly how to put each of these steps into action. And I'm genuinely curious, right now, are you still purely in the saving stage, or have you already made the jump into investing? Tell me in the comments, because the moment you make that shift is the moment everything about your financial future starts to look different.